4 minutes. First, I'm gonna open my ramen. This is called white champong, which is like a mix of the seafood ramen. Actually, a clear broth, not the spicy one.
How come you like that more than ramen?
I like ramen. I think it really depends on my mood. So there's noodle, and I'm gonna separate the plates. Has some food inside, and my MSG powder mix. So first, I'm gonna use a little bit of which is a pro fat. I'm gonna add my scallion. Then I'm gonna, at the same time, I'm gonna add my pork belly. I want to get aromatic basil from the scallion and pork belly to get some pork fat out from there. In the same time, sweat the kimchi, so it has some cooked flavor rather than kimchi flavor. Ramen powder mix. And I'm gonna gently sweat it.
Dry ingredients mixed on you.
And deglade this my chongba white kimchi juice. And then I'm gonna add up some water, frozen tofu. My noodle in. The worst thing you can do, any type of noodle, you can put when the water is not boiling. Either pasta or gnocchi or instant ramen. It's just uncooked hydrated noodle versus like a firm and nice kind of a noodle.
How do you know exactly when to turn the fire off when you're cooking the noodle?
As soon as you see that noodle start to break apart, that's time to you pull out your noodle because it's gonna continuously cook. At this point, just the noodle, pull that out and put it in the bowl first. I'm gonna finish this with my garnish, white cloud mushroom, my whole chili, some oyster, and the sweet you just pour over here. This is the final kick. This is the Myeongnan smoky pola roll. It gives a lot of richness and deep. Next of all, and once you see that the squid has been curved, that means it's ready. Put some tofu inside, put some white cloud mushroom, and the squid, the bean sprout, the other chili, and pour into my bowl. Okay, so this is how I upgrade my ramen. This is a chongba sanwon, 백김치 ramen.
Looks delicious. Chef, you got to get some chongga kimchi, some ramyeon. Wow, this is probably the best kimchi I've ever had. What do you think, We're gonna make Shin ramen, but make it Michelin. We're gonna make a nice Parisian gnocchi out of it. Took the idea from a famous Korean chef, so we're gonna take that and make it fancy. We're gonna open up our own side. We got our noodles. You got the dry herbs that never ever hydrate. That's probably not gonna use it. It's stuck in your teeth. But this is the best stuff in the world. It's gonna taste good. So it's very similar to like the gnocchi, like that you do with like potatoes, but we do this with 100% flour. In this case, we're gonna use ramen. Ramen's gonna be our flour. So we're gonna take some milk, 250 grams in non-freedom units. We're gonna bring it to a bubble, a boil, and we're gonna throw our noodles in. And we're just gonna cook it down until a very thick paste. Alright, so at this point, we're gonna blend it out.
How much delay is it?
So we're gonna make this into a nice little puree. Shaved with an egg yolk. We have this awesome, delicious ramen packet. So we're gonna put that in. It's giving an awesome color right now. And then we're gonna blend it out more. We're gonna mix it bowl. We're gonna finish it off. Nice and emulsified. This is the most chef thing to do. I cook station and steal his chives instead. You have chives on your station? Throw some chives in there because why not? So chef, you wanna make things fancy. Nothing says fancy. They're really, really nice. Look at that color. Isn't it so pretty now? So now we have our Parisian gnocchi dough, and we're gonna put in a piping bag or a fancy vessel with a nice tip. If you don't have that, you can totally get a plastic bag, put a hole in it, or you go to Michael's and buy a piping tip for like $2. So our water's getting pretty hot, so we're gonna get this started right now. Do it quickly. 2 methods of this. So you can either push it out and just cut it off just like that, so you get nice little size pieces, or using a string, go back and forth, and cut it off. Yeah, it's like fun for the first 30, and then when you have to do like 4 bags of this, it gets kind of tiring. But don't worry, you'll have enough for service. Once you start to float, they're more or less ready at that point. And we get our guys that are floating out, or just get them in the container, and that's it. So we're gonna take this, pull it down, and then we're gonna cook this over the fire and finish our dish. So now, I'll grab some hot embers, get the embers really hot, get a little of this, hit a little clarified butter on the bottom, and we'll get this ripping hot, get it nice and hot and smoky. We're gonna hit this little clarified butter, get it nice and loosey-goosey there, just a little salt to season out, or just heat it through, and get a nice color. So we're gonna get that awesome ramen gnocchi with all that face and fire. You can do this at home, just obviously with a saute pan, and pull out the fire. and our awesome toasted gnocchi. And now we're gonna plate it. We have made a nice cheese fondue, so it has eggs, cream, and cheese, and then nappe it and cover it over your delicious gnocchi, just like your Italian donut would make it. We're gonna charge it. It's gonna make it nice and aerated. Shake it. That's it. We're gonna plate. We have our fancy plate. Ramen gnocchi. Just get it right in your bowl. We got our awesome cheese sauce because who doesn't like cheese? Right.
That looks amazing, Chef. Ramen gnocchi with a little cheese fondue on top.
And just to finish it up, old black truffle.
All right, let's dig in.
Ramen gnocchi.
Oh, I can taste the ramen as soon as I dig into it.
Ramen and truffles. Next thing come to you, boys.
Chef, thank you. Sounds time to you. Hi, my name is Douglas Kim, owner chef at Jeju Noodle Bar. This is my favorite ramen, Shin Ramen Black, and I'm gonna show you how to make it at home. A little bit more upgraded version than regular average ramen. You get a little honey, you don't need too much.
Great. খাবার দেখতে ভালো লাগে।
Here's a little secret touch. The garlic, correct? In the home, you can use a sliced garlic, so nothing fancy. Now we have some protein here. Have to take it out of the water. Normally you gotta leave longer, but for purposely, I'm gonna actually cook it here. I have to get out a little bit earlier. So as soon as the noodles are loosened up, just put it in the soup. Yeah. Wow. That's it. All right. So a little garnish. Finish with the Parmesan cheese. Gotta use the egg yolk, scallion, olive oil. That's it. This is how I turn a ramen. Little bit upgrade version at home. Wow. All right, I'm gonna break up the egg yolk. Yeah, you gotta mix it. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Hey, look at that. Oh, now it's getting really creamy. Yeah. The same smell you smell, with the carbonara, you smell with this instant ramen recipe. Yo, Chef, I think you gotta add this to the menu for sure. No. I mean, I think it's very good. So, yeah. Thank you, Chef. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh. You want me to do it?
Hi everyone, I'm Sam, and I'm here to show you.
I have the 3-piece working for delivery, and then one just came in. Oh, sorry, let me just pop this in the fryer, and then I will. Chaotic situations, fryers bubbling away. We are very much open for business right now, so we're going to make this happen. It's going to be great. Hi, I'm Eric Kwong. I'm the chef and founder of Peckney House in Brooklyn, New York. Today we're going to make my perfect fried rice. I've trained in New York as a chef for the last 12 years. I was cook at Gramercy Tavern, and then most recently I was a sous chef at 11 Madison Park. And then when the pandemic started, my family's restaurant got locked down, so I started frying chicken, and thus it has become my life. The reason fried rice tastes different in a restaurant than the kind you have at home is usually thanks to these very intense wok burners that look like rocket fuel. Great seasoning, emulsified rice. Every grain is going to be covered in a light slick of oil, and then high heat. That's the flavor we're trying to cultivate by using these really intense woks everywhere. So this is going to be a chicken fried rice, just like the one that my mom makes in her restaurant, the one I grew up in. And first step is to marinate the chicken with a technique we call velveting. Velveting is a technique to prepare proteins for stir fries. It really improves their texture, keeps them really moist, and gives them a nice bouncy texture. So egg whites obviously have protein, and they are slightly alkaline. And that alkaline texture is actually going to tenderize the protein a little bit, and that's what gives those stir fry ingredients you get in your Chinese takeout that unique texture. Okay. Señor, ¿tienes un chili sandwich con hígado, un sandwich picante con hígado? Necesito un papa frita y aleta. ¿El sandwich chili está listo? Okay. So, we're going to cut this into very thin strips. This is chicken breast, boneless, skinless. You can use chicken thigh, you can use whatever you want. We're aiming for kind of like noodly consistency. Not quite spaghetti, but maybe a little thicker than that. What should we say? Bucatini? So normally in a Chinese restaurant, at least how we would do it at my mom's place, we would freeze these, slice them on a deli slicer, and then cut them into strips. It's a little harder to do with fresh chicken. Why is Chinese cuisine such thin portions of meat, whereas like a lot of Western cooking is these giant roasts and such like that? I learned recently it's because China is considered quite poor fuel, as in like wood and combustible fuel. So they generally prepared things to be cooked as quickly as possible, whereas there were a great deal of forests in Europe, and that's why you can create these big fires and big bread and such and such. My mom would probably tell me to cut these thinner, but you know, this is what we're doing here. It'll cook very quickly. So we have our chicken strips. We're gonna add a little salt, some cornstarch. Cornstarch is going to allow the protein to hold on to a little bit of moisture by hydrating. And then we're gonna add a little baking soda. Again, alkalinity is going to tenderize proteins a little bit. This is going to give it the texture of that great Chinese American dish, chicken and broccoli. That really nice slippery and bouncy texture of a thinly sliced piece of chicken that is not achievable unless you do this step. Okay, so we have our chicken velvet in. We're gonna put this away for a second, and then we're gonna address the rice. So day-old rice is the key to fried rice. It's the history. You know, using leftover rice, how would you bring it back to life and make it something delicious? It is crystallized. The starches in it have made it hard, but it makes it great for stir frying because it's going to be really loose and fluffy. It's going to hold on to fat for a little bit, and that's what gives great fried rice its all texture. So this would be rice that is drying out overnight. We got racks and racks and racks of it, and as you see, after we fluff it, we pack it in these containers, and then we get ready to fry rice during service. At home, since you're doing a small quantity, I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you got it, that white takeout carton, you just didn't finish your rice from your takeout meal the night before, it'll be totally fine, ready to fry the next day. We use jasmine rice in the restaurant. All varieties of rice contain a measure of amylopectin. It's ultra exaggerated in risotto rice. That makes it really sticky and creamy. And then there's less of it in long grain rice, which is why it's nice and drier and fluffy and like in individual grains. This is very much a really important step, fluffing the rice. Cooking your rice the day before at least, then taking the time the next day to run through it, massage it all into these. Some would say I should use chopsticks. Believe it or not, I don't have chopsticks in this restaurant. Great design. We're going to dice some onion up. When you're stir frying vegetables, even for fried rice, you don't want them to be too soft. We want a texture that it still has a little bit of bite. It's not too mushy, so can't be too small. Kenji Lopez calls it tender crisp. I think that's a great term. I don't add garlic to fried rice. I think it's a little much. Everyone thinks like anytime you cook something Chinese that has to have garlic, ginger, and scallions in it. That's not true. Then we're going to do scallions. We're going to separate them to the dark green, and then the light green and the white are going to go together. We're going to cook these first. They're a little bit more pungent, but they're going to add a really nice foundation of savoriness to it. And then we're just going to finish with the dark green part. So it has color, has pungency, has aroma. My mom has a Chinese restaurant on Long Island. Her original restaurant was in Queens. It was called Peking House. Her and my father were servers there. The owners sold it to my parents. I grew up taking phone calls, takeout orders, reservations, bussing tables. Learned a lot about life. Also going in this thing, we got peas and carrots. Very classic for Chinese takeout restaurants. And adds a really nice bit of color and texture. We're gonna add soy sauce to our fried rice to add salinity, to add umami, savoriness. You're going to add sauce around the edge, just so it cooks down a little bit, reduces just very slightly. You don't want it to be too wet, but you do also want to add all that color, aroma, and salinity. There's a very specific technique when you're stir frying. You're adding your seasonings, your liquid seasonings along the edge of the pan. The only other soy sauce, salt, and MSG. You can't have great fried rice without some degree of MSG. It's simply a salt. It is glutamate. It's what activates in your tongue and your brain to develop that flavor of savoriness, what Japanese people call umami. And you should have it in your home. It's very useful. We like to add a little butter to our fried rice. Not traditional, but rice and butter are great friends. It works really well. You just need a little bit, kind of brings the whole party together, ties the room together. Okay, we got everything ready to go here. Again, this has come together really quickly, and we're gonna make some fried rice. All right, we got our chicken velveted here. I'm going to do a